Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sammy, and if you haven't seen any other videos from my channel, I am an exchange student in Germany. I'll be here for 10 months. I'm with a program called CBYX through the US Congress and the German Bundestag. And basically, I've been living here for a month, and I wanted to talk about COVID and who's handling it better, the US, Germany. It's honestly not even a question. Obviously, both countries are very big and very different depending on where you are in each country. So this video is mostly comparing where I'm from in the US, which is the South, like region, Georgia, and I'm comparing it to a city in North Rhine-Westphalia. So like rural, not even rural Georgia, but like Georgia compared to like rural Germany. So I have a list in front of me and I will be reading it because I thought it'd be interesting to compare what each country is doing COVID-wise. Okay, so the first thing I thought I would compare is school. I will start with my school here in Germany. At my school in Germany, masks are required anywhere if you're in the building and also in the courtyard. I mean, I don't know if it's technically required in the courtyard, but like everybody wears them in the courtyard unless they're like eating. This is interesting. They're actually tested twice a week. It might be 3 times a week now. I'm not really sure because cases are kind of climbing higher. So they get tested Monday and Wednesday, and they also tested this morning. I don't know why, but today's Friday. So I don't know if they're gonna start doing 3 times a week or what. And if they test positive, obviously they go home, they quarantine, and they do contact tracing. So they have seating charts. I don't know if the seating charts are because of COVID or if it's a thing that existed before COVID, but I do know that they use the seating charts to contact trace because they're very strict about you like staying in your seats when you're in class. And obviously, if you're exposed to COVID, you're required to quarantine. You would think that'd be common sense, but yeah. Now let's talk about my school in the US. In the US, last year they were, I don't even want to say like more strict, but like last year they did contact tracing. They had like social distancing during lunch, but it was really just like sit with your friends and then like everybody was in little like clusters. And masks were not required at school. So it was like a handful of people that wore masks, and I was one of them. This year, they started the year saying they were not going to do contact tracing, but the first week of school cases were so bad that they said they needed to bring it back. So they started doing contact tracing again, but they didn't like require you to quarantine if you were exposed. So if like the person next to you got COVID, they would like email you and say, hey, somebody next to you got COVID, but they wouldn't tell you like who. And then they wouldn't like force you to quarantine, which I think it makes no sense, but go off, Georgia. So yeah, very, very different. Also, they do not do anything. They don't require testing. They don't require vaccinations, nothing. Now let's talk about being in public events. I will start again with Germany. In Germany, in Germany, you need proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test for parties, public places, those kinds of things. Don't take my word for this. This might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that if you want to go to like concerts or clubs, you have to either be vaccinated or you have to have had COVID in the past, like so that you have the antibodies, whatever. So you can't get into a club or concert if you with a negative COVID test. Like you have to be vaccinated or have had COVID, which I thought again was really interesting. Masks are required everywhere. Germany is like very technologically advanced when it comes to like COVID. They have different apps that you can add your like vaccination to, like add your like, yeah, it has a little QR code that you scan, and basically you just use it to show that you are vaccinated, and it shows that you have both doses and that it's been 2 weeks and whatever. So like when you go to sporting events, you just hold up your phone with the little QR code and they can see that you're vaccinated and they let you in. So that's something that the US does not have, that I thought it was so interesting. They also have an app, I think it's called Luca, and it's specifically for contact tracing. So like when my host family and I go to the stables, you can scan the QR code and it basically just like writes down that you were at this place at this time. And so if somebody gets COVID, the app basically tells you if you were at this place at the same time with this person who has COVID. So it's just very helpful for like contact tracing. So as of right now, you do not have to pay to get tested for COVID. You can just go and get tested. But my host mom was telling me that starting in October, you do have to start paying to get tested. And I think they're doing this to kind of, what's the word? Like, I can't think of the word, but basically it's like another reason to get the vaccine, so you don't have to pay to get tested, because as long as you can show you're vaccinated, you don't need to have a negative COVID test to go places. Oh, incentive. Incentive is the word I'm looking for. It's like an incentive to get vaccinated. Now we will talk about how the US is handling COVID. So in the US, where I live in Forsyth County, Georgia, masks basically optional. They say if you're vaccinated, you don't need a mask, but they don't ask for proof of vaccination. So if you're not vaccinated and you don't want to wear a mask, go ahead, go into Walmart. They don't care, they can't check. So they do have limited hours, so a lot of things close earlier, open later maybe. I know Walmart used to be open 24 hours and now it closes at like 11. They created senior hours in the mornings though, so I think it's like 6 to 7. It's designated for older people. So maybe the store is cleaner, emptier, but I don't think they like stop you if you're younger and you need to go shopping at 6 a.m. I will say there's no public transportation where I live, but when we visited Virginia, they did require masks on public transportation. Virginia is a little bit more north though, so They also required masks at like the airports and stuff, so like that, but like not if you go into like a store or restaurant, they don't require masks unless it's like a privately owned family business and they choose to require masks, which some do, so good for them. That's all I can think of. So basically, in conclusion, it's not even a question. Germany's definitely, I think, handling it a lot better. They're doing a lot more to prevent the spread and keep people safe. Again, this is compared to like conservative Georgia, so not too much like in common, I guess. But I thought I would make this video for anybody who is interested. Anyways, that's all I can think of. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask and I will answer them. But yeah, until next week. Bye guys.